You are whoever you believe you are. Whatever you believe about yourself, subconsciously and consciously, will be reflected back to you in your external world, in your opportunities, in your relationships. If you want to be rich and successful, underneath the surface, you are holding visibility wounds, the fear of being seen, not feeling good enough, constantly talking shit to yourself, going around saying you're poor, not putting yourself in situations where you can attract the opportunities that are going to help make you successful. Your self-concept is not matching the person that you want to be. If you want to be healthy, right, you've got health issues, but inside you're constantly identifying still with being a sick person. You're behaving like a sick person. You're going around saying, oh, I can't do that because I'm sick. You're not eating healthy. You're not treating your body with the love and respect that a healthy person would. Again, your self-concept is not matching up with the person that you want to be. And that's what I want to talk about today, self-concept. I think there's so much talk around identity work and manifestation and going after the life that you want, fulfilling your dreams, being delusional online. And I want to share a bit about my experience of how I have manifested some of the biggest things in my life. The main one being my health. I have spent the majority of the past 7.5 years very sick, to the point where a lot of the time it left me unable to leave the house, it left me unable to work, it left me unable to socialize. I was basically just a couch potato. And what has gotten me from being that sick version to the version of myself today, I no longer identify with being a sick person. I wouldn't say I have a chronic illness. I still deal with some symptoms, but I know that they're going to go away very quickly because of how rapidly I've managed to heal so far. But the thing that I feel like not a lot of people talk about is the effort that you have to put in for this to change. Now, I feel like this is something of a paradox because in the manifestation world, if you think about Neville Goddard, he talks about not trying because the energy of trying is coming from that energy of lack. If you're trying to make money, you're in the wrong energy state. You need to just be in the energy state of somebody who has already received the money. If you want to be a healthy person and you're trying to be healthy, you're like, I've got to do more, I've got to do more. That's the wrong energy for you actually to be able to just become a healthy person and receive that health into your life. Now, whilst all of this is absolutely true, I do believe that you have to put in a huge amount of effort initially to bridge the gap from the person that you are to the person that you want to be. And that's because you have to quite literally brainwash yourself. The way that I managed to heal from being chronically unwell to a functioning woman today is I had to brainwash myself into becoming the healthy version of me. Now, there are a few specific ways that I did this that I want to share with you, because I believe that if everybody is aware of this and you really put your mind to it and you really go full throttle with it, there is nothing that you cannot achieve, whether that is money, whether that is health, whether it's love, whether it's success, whatever. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You have to go all in. Now, the first thing is subconscious reprogramming. There are many ways to reprogram your subconscious. In fact, everything that I'm going to talk through today will be reprogramming in your subconscious. We need to be looking specifically at limiting beliefs. I feel like a lot of manifestation just focus on the positive, do the visualizations of how you want to feel, do the scripting, do the vision boards, all of this. And don't get me wrong, you want to be spending the majority of your time in those positive states of the person that has already received and achieved what you want. But you also need to be clearing all the gunk that's underneath. Because the truth is, if you don't have what you want, there's probably something holding you back from that. Now, there are a couple of ways to look at this, because sometimes I think some things just aren't right for us. It's either they're not right for us at all, and later on down the line, you see, that's why that thing never worked out, because there was something better. That's why we always say this or something better. Or maybe it's divine timing, as in you just weren't ready to receive it yet. And sometimes when you're doing this work of brainwashing yourself, and literally becoming a new identity, becoming a new person, there is this kind of lull in between. There's this limbo where it feels like nothing is really moving. And that's where it's really important to hold the faith and keep the vision and do everything that I'm going to teach you about in this video. Because it will seem like nothing is changing, but it is happening. But if you have been trying to manifest something for a really long time and you haven't got it, it's likely that something is holding you back. And you need to go deep with this. You need to dig, because quite often on the surface, we can be like, oh, I want to be rich. No, I don't think anything's holding me back. But actually underneath, there will be experiences, there'll be limiting beliefs, there'll be fears. There'll be all sorts of, I call it gunk. It's just gunk that needs to be cleared out. You got a drain and you need to unclog it with all of the shit and the hairs and whatever's in there. That's what you're doing with your subconscious. Now, the thing that has hands down changed my life, I've used it every day for about 1.5 years now, is a tool called Faster EFT. It is different to traditional EFT. It's a tool where you go back to memories and more negative experiences and change them into something positive. So you're literally rewriting your subconscious from the past. It's a tool that can be used in many different ways, and I use it daily. I use it like I'm brushing my teeth. It is a part of my daily routine. Anytime something comes up, anytime I have a limiting belief, every time I have this feeling of I can't do this because of something that happened to me when I was 7, and they don't always have to be big things. It could just be a kid laughing at you on the playground. But every day I sit with myself, I think about what I want, I think about the person that I want to be, and then anything that comes up that is me doubting getting that, I use this subconscious reprogramming tool to change it into something positive. Now, there's no one way to heal. This is the tool that's worked for me. So whatever it is that you use to rewrite limiting beliefs, you need to do that. And that needs to be your number one priority. If you just sit with yourself for a small amount of time every day and allow all the fear and all of the shit to come up, and you rewrite that into something positive and change that in your subconscious, in your nervous system, you will manifest what you want a lot quicker. Okay, it's like love and light spirituality. You cannot have the love and light without the dark and the shadows. You need to be clearing up those darkness and those shadows. If there's a part of you that's scared to go there, let me tell you, the more that you do this work, the less scary they become. I'm not scared of my shadows anymore because I face them. I sit with them all the time. They're my friends. They're showing me where I'm blocking myself and what I want. So that's number one. Number two is you need to be spending the majority of the rest of your time trying to be in more positive or at least neutral states. Now, at first you think, I am doing this. But once you start to pay attention, you will notice how much you're living in the past day to day. Just this morning, I was washing up some dishes. And I paused and I caught myself, and I was having a conversation in my head with somebody who I don't really know about something so trivial. And like, I came out of myself and I was like, whoa, that's not going to get me to where I want to be. You've got to become conscious of this stuff and just redirecting that energy into something else. Noticing on a daily basis, like checking in with yourself constantly. How's your body feeling? Are you contracting? Are you in anxiety? Are you hunched over? Are you giving small energy? When you do that, catch yourself, open yourself up, confident energy. If you need to take a breather, if you need to touch some grass, if you need to take some deep breaths to bring yourself back to a more neutral, relaxed state, do that. The energy of attracting everything you want is relaxation, is being in a state of being able to receive. So the more that you can be in this energy where you feel like your shoulders can drop and everything can just come to you naturally, the easier you're going to get what you want, and the easier it is for you to be able to become the version of yourself that you want to be. Now, do whatever it is that you need to do to raise your vibration out of that negativity. It doesn't have to be super, super high vibe positive all the time, but at least neutral and feel good as much as possible. So watch what you're consuming. It baffles me that so many people read these murder and crime documentaries, listen to the podcast, watches the shows. Is that making you feel good in your body? Are you going to sleep at night thinking about attracting everything that you want? No, you're probably going to be looking under your bed for a serial killer. Listening to high vibe music, listening to inspirational podcasts, watching things that make you feel funny, or watching things about people who are achieving what they want and like getting over the obstacles. I love to watch stuff like that. Feed your mind, body and soul with positive things. It's going to be so much easier for you to enter into a positive state and feel like your manifestations are coming to you if you're feeling good and you're filling your brain with good stuff. The next point is around affirmations and visualizations. These are super important. I personally like to connect and visualize and embody the dream version of myself, living the life that's like 10 out of 10, everything that I want, 3 times a day. Your brain is most susceptible first thing in the morning when you wake up and last thing at night before you go to bed. So it sees those 2 opportunities, and it doesn't have to be this big meditation. You don't even have to go on YouTube. Just when you wake up in the morning, even as you're still lying in bed, think about your dream life and feel in your body what that feels like. Feel how relaxed you are once you have received everything that you want. What I really like to do is give it a color. So for me, health, energy, vitality was sparkly orange, and I'm going to feel that in my body and circulate it all over my body, this orange, radiant, healthy glow. And then when I feel good, I get up and I go about my day, because your brain is so malleable at that point. And again, just as you're falling off to sleep, do the same thing again. If you want to do it with music, if you want to do a guided meditation, if you want to have a script written next to your bed that you just pick up and read like half asleep, whatever you want, there is no set way to do this. Just the more that you can brainwash yourself, the easier it's going to be, and the more that you're going to notice you attract things so much easier. You're going to notice all these little magical clues in your daily life. And the same for affirmations. So many people use I am affirmations. Personally, they have never worked for me. I would feel resistance in my body when I say I am, I am, I am. What really changed the game for me was when I was studying neurolinguistic programming years ago. And my mentor at the time told the class that your brain is more likely to believe information if you say you are. Think about it. You can be getting dressed, going for a night out, and you can keep looking in the mirror and you can be trying to build your self-confidence. And you can try and say like, I am hot, I am sexy, and it's just feeling like, But then say you go out and a random girl in the bathrooms of the bar you're in or the restaurant you're in says, oh my God, girl, you look so fucking hot, you look amazing. All of a sudden, you believe it. So if I am works for you, that's fine. But personally, like I am my own coach, speaking to myself, saying you are, this is what has changed the game for me. And I actually just recorded a bad bitch affirmation rampage. I'll link it down below, where it's me giving you a pep talk saying you are a bad bitch. You are the hottest woman in the world. You are capable of fucking anything that you achieve. See how it lands differently when it's me saying it to you? Give it a listen. It's over some hype music. This is what I do several times a day. When I'm in the bathroom and I'm washing my hands in the sink, I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm saying, you are a fucking bad bitch. Do you know how resilient you are? Look at everything that you overcome. Of course you're going to get everything that you want. And I speak to myself in the third person. I am my own coach. And this has honestly been a fucking game changer for me. And again, I'm doing this all the time. When I catch myself going down these little negative spirals or thinking, oh, it's never going to happen for me, I pause. Even if I'm out and about, I'll just do it to myself with my headphones in on a walk. Are you fucking joking me? Everything that you've been through, look how far you've come. Of course you're going to make the final step. Of course you're going to get everything that you want. Of course you're going to be the healthiest bitch ever. And people are going to be like, how did you do it? You are a literal wizard. You need to be on that shit like your life depends on it. Because it might do. I don't know where you are on your journey right now. I don't know how bad things are. I don't know how long you've been trying to get to where you want to be, get those manifestations for. But this is how you close the gap. Personally, for me, just doing one visualization in the morning, then going about my day, not realizing that I was thinking a load of negative shit, going into self-doubt, wasn't enough for me. I would not be here now. I would not be healthy. I would not be glowing. You have to put in the work. And at first, it's going to feel like a slog because you are going to realize just how much shit you tell yourself every day. How many times you keep going back to the same thoughts, the same conversations, the same people in your mind, because that's what your brain does. There's a stat that I'm probably going to butcher, but it's like you have 90,000 thoughts a day and most of them are the same as the day before, because that's what we do. You have to push your subconscious in a different direction. And at first that's going to feel a little bit like riding a bike through thick mud and you're going to find it annoying. But over time it becomes so much easier. You catch yourself and you redirect it so much quicker. You're going to be thinking about famous people, whether that's content creators, singers, actresses, even people that you know personally who embody the identity, the frequency of the woman that you want to be. And then you are just going to start to move like her and act like her. Again, I give it a colour. When I think about the kind of woman that I want to be a woman who is completely magnetic, like Marilyn Monroe, right? Everything just comes to me naturally. When I think about that energy, to me, that's pink. It's pink and it's glittery and it's like fluffy and it's soft. And so when I wake up in the morning and I'm doing my visualizations and I'm connecting to the woman that I want to be, or when I'm catching myself, when I'm doing some chores and I'm going about the past, I'm like, no, bitch, you're Marilyn Monroe. And I think about that pink, glittery energy filling my entire body and radiating outside of me. It's an aura, right? And everything comes to me. Once you practice that, you can change your state in a second, because that's what this is. It's about changing states. The more that you practice these things, the quicker you are going to be able to get yourself from moaning, self-doubt, scarcity, lack, to I've got this, it's already here. And the more that you do it over and over again, repetitions, right? Because that's what your brain loves. It's a muscle. It wants repetition. The easier it's going to become for you. And literally, it doesn't even take that long. It's different for everybody, so I can't put a timer on it. But the past 2 months, I have really upped my game around this. And at first, it felt painful. It felt, God, this is so hard. It's never going to get easier. Now I can change my state like that. If I notice I'm in a mood or something has slightly bothered me, if I'm in a public space, I take myself to the toilet, I have a word with myself, 2 minutes, I come back out. So find what works for you. Subliminal meditations are incredible. Again, I've just recorded some. I will link them below in the description. But how they work is, to the naked ear, it just sounds like music. And you record affirmations at a really low level and put them underneath the music, so to the conscious mind you can't hear them, so you can't come up against resistance, but your subconscious mind will be taking them in. You can play this in the background whilst you're doing work, and it will be reprogramming your subconscious. Depending on what kind of subliminal it is, you are amazing, you are magnetic, you are confident as fuck. And this is all playing at such a low level that you can't hear it, so you won't get distracted and you won't go, oh, that's not me. But your subconscious mind will be taking it in. You can listen to these as you fall asleep. Sometimes I just leave one on all night as I'm in and out of sleep, just very softly in the background, knowing that it's doing that work for me without me even trying. It is possible for you to have whatever you want. It is possible for you to become the person that you want to be, but you have to change those beliefs. You have to change your self-concept. And if you are somebody who has spent the first 10, 20, 30 years of their life in a state of, I'm not good enough, we base everything on past experiences, right? So if you have no lived experience of ever being rich, of ever being healthy, or it's so long ago that you can't connect with it anymore, it's going to at first feel like almost impossible for you to get to that person, because it's like you can see it in your mind's eye, but you can't feel it. You have to just keep forcing yourself and pushing through. And I wanted to share this because I don't think a lot of people talk about this. Everyone talks about manifestation. Everyone talks about quantum leaping and identity shifting. For me, I've had to put in so much work, but let me tell you, it's so worth it. I will continue to until I've got everything I want. And then you know what it's like, you plateau for a bit and then there's something else and you work on it again. Nothing is more important in this lifetime than your energy and your happiness and your health and your peace. This is how you get it. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't have time because there's physical things that I need to do. Say you are setting up a business, you're a healer, or you're wanting to be a content creator and you think, no, I don't have time to do this because I need to do the physical things. Let me tell you, this is more important. Your energy is more important. I was creating content like a fucking warhorse last year. Like I was just churning it out. I was at my computer every day. I was on TikTok for hours, putting in so much work. And it wasn't actually until I started spending less time creating content, more time on my energy, clearing my limiting beliefs, embodying the energy of the person who has effortless ideas and magnetizes people into her audience that resonate with her message, that everything is so much easier. I spend way less time creating content now because my energy is more potent. The message that I have is clearer. I'm coming from a place of, I know this is happening, rather than I've got to force it to happen. So make time. Lock yourself in the bathroom. Do it in the shower. Do it on the train. Do it when you're walking. To become a new person, you have to let go of everything that you once were, and that takes some serious brainwashing. But I promise you, it is so fucking worth it.